Just wanted to, in our weekly press conference, answer any questions you have. We know it's been an active week. But before we get to your questions, I just wanted to announce an exciting development that Karen Marshall, who stands next to me, has been engaged by the administration to be our chief of Connect Vermont. As you know, it is my highest priority to ensure that Vermont has high-speed internet access and cell service to every last mile by 2013. We understand that this is an ambitious goal, an ambitious agenda, but we must get it done. We have brought on Karen because she is the most qualified person to get it done with us and lead the effort. This is both a technical and diplomatic mission that we send Karen on and embark her on today. The diplomacy is simple. We have to bring together public and private partnership to ensure that the team is working together. What we are trying to do is unprecedented in America. We are trying to marry the smart grid money, of which Vermont has gotten an unprecedented per capita share, with the private sector money, of which Vermont, because of the good work of the congressional delegation and the president, has gotten an unprecedented share, with the public sector dollars that I've committed in both my capital bill and the bonded capacity that's available to the BPA. Karen has a long record of executive leadership in this state. She is currently, or was until this week, COO of Shred Vermont, Secure Shred. She has been the vice president of Northern New England for Comcast Spotlight, which is a division of Comcast Cable. And she was vice president of Clear Channel, managing 15 radio stations across the state of Vermont. So she has both the business and technical background to get the job done. I should share with you that the minute that I was elected, I called upon Karen, Matt Dunn, and Steve Terry to come back to me within 4 weeks with a plan of how to deliver on my promise of Connect Vermont 2013. Karen was an integral member of that team. She went out and spoke with all of the private sector players and many others, and I was frankly incredibly impressed with the work document that she came back with that will be really introduced, some of it will be introduced in the form of a bill early next week. So Karen, it's a pleasure to have you on the team.
Thank you.
I introduce you to your new friends.
My new friends, the press, which aren't exactly totally new. I should add that. You know, for many years I served, if you will, on the other side of media, behind media, if you will, leading media. So first, I want to say that I was extremely honored in early November when the governor-to-be, at that point in time, and the transition team called and said, will you spend some time and take a look at this issue and what's going on, help us to identify where the barriers are, where our challenges are, and how it is that we can get further faster to completion in 2013. I was doubly honored and a little bit amazed when, after kind of bringing the plan forward, the administration came forward and said, would you like to lead this? And we think you're really the right person to do that. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I think that the really critical pieces here, there's some question about why 2013, why is this important? And that really has to do, as we've talked about, the marriage of utilities as well as the telecommunications providers. It has to do with the $410 million worth of federal funding that is already at work. There are deadlines on those dollars, deadlines for completion if we are to maximize all of that investment in our state. And hence, I think the need for not just coordination and collaboration, but really how do we assure that we have an ongoing dialogue and working partnership with the private sector as well as utilities. I hope, and really what I want to share with you at this point in time is we do have a plan. We're not going to sit here for a couple of weeks and say, how do we go about doing this? That work has been done. The plan is already in motion. We're starting to see some of the initiatives come out. I'll share with you today, there are essentially 8 goals in that plan. And they are, number one, recognizing that about 95% of asset deployment is really going to be completed by private sector companies and utilities. It's imperative that we're engaging all of these stakeholders on an ongoing basis in their work, in helping us to understand what they've completed, what miles they've finished, and the coordination among those different providers. We need to maintain a competitive marketplace for services that's going to continue to foster private sector investment. We want those private sector providers to continue to build out, and we've got to create the right set of conditions, regulatory, permitting processes, so that they can do that. Third, understanding the role and contribution of each stakeholder. Fourth, balancing the openness and the ownership of the pipe. That's really critical when we think about Vermonters and assuring that they will have market competitive rates, access to content, and comparable service in all regions of the state. Fifth, overcoming the inherent challenges of low population density and topography. For any of you that have spent any time in the broadcasting world, we know about mountains and towers and reach and signals. Anybody with a cell phone understands that as well. This is where we are going to utilize public resources to fill the gaps, if you will, in infrastructure. You'll see that the VTA will have a very important role in making investments in those fill-the-gap places. The goal of that is really to shift and create, if you will, a better business case. Quite honestly, there are places in the state where the business case is thin, and that's where our investment with public funds can make the difference. I would say sixth here, making public policy decisions that create predictable and efficient process. Already, the Department of Public Service, our utilities have been at work and are on the case to assure that our processes are streamlined and that we can get there. That's a really critical piece to 2013. And kind of in the last but not least, certainly working with our congressional delegation and assuring that we meet those deadlines, federal deadlines that exist for NTIA and RUS and DOE grants of funding. So, Governor, thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to leading us, not just to the last mile, but really every mile in between. So, thank you.
Thanks, Karen.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?